Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are watching the Paris Fintech Forum Communities video interview series. I'm Elliott Gotkine, and today I'm joined by the CEO of Orange Bank, Paul Leusse. Great to have you with us.
Hello, Elliott. Hello, everybody.
Okay, so look, before we get cracking, we're going to learn a little bit more about Orange Bank. Okay, so Paul, we speak a lot about neobanks here. We speak with a lot of neobanks here. But aside from belonging to a network operator, what sets Orange Bank apart from the rest?
Well, it's not a question of being owned by Orange, which is a telco operator. It's a question for Orange Bank of being fully embedded within the telco. Everything we do on the offering side, on the client side, on the distribution side is always embedded within the telco in Europe and in Africa as well.
Right, and as you say, you are in Europe. I think France, your biggest market. You're also in Spain and other countries like Romania, Moldova, and parts of Africa. Is the plan to be embedded in the Orange network wherever Orange, the telecoms network, is? Is that the plan?
Yes, for sure. We've opened the bank in France and Spain, in Ivory Coast in Africa. Our plan now in Europe is to go to Eastern Europe, and in Africa is to go from Côte d'Ivoire to Senegal. Because our model is a scale model, and we need to have as many markets as possible to fuel our bank with the new customers.
Right, and late last year, Orange, the network operator, your parent company, they pumped an extra 250 million euros into Orange Bank, also buying out your former partner, Groupama. How much more do you think they are prepared to invest in Orange Bank? And do you see the day when Orange Bank might be perhaps spun off as a standalone bank?
Well, we had discussion about that last year, but we found out that the growth of Orange Bank is accelerating. Now we're gaining in Europe around 50,000 new customers a month. In Africa, we are granting about 20,000 loans per week. And so when we saw that the growth of Orange Bank was accelerating, we decided together with the management of Orange to put more money within Orange Bank so that to fuel this growth and to reach break-even by 24-25. But we felt it's time now to give more money to attract new customers because we were positively surprised of the growth of the customer base, which were dramatically more important last year than the years before.
Right, well, you kind of answered my next question, which was about where we stand in terms of revenues and growth and path to profitability. I think you just said break-even plans for 2024, 2025. But can you, I don't know if Orange, which is obviously a publicly traded company, breaks it down, but can you give us a sense of where we are in terms of revenue and growth?
Yes, sure. Well, in Europe, we will reach probably this year 2 million customers, in France and a little bit in Spain. And our revenue in Europe is between 100 and 150 million euros of revenues. In Africa, it's a very different model. It's a micro-lending model. We have 800,000 customers in Africa. We just launched 1.5 years ago, so it's very recent. Revenue is still low, it's around 10 million euros, which is growing very fast. And the good news is that in Africa, we can grant loans to people who are not banked, who do not have a regular salary. And what we do in Africa is not only increasing revenue, but also working for financial inclusion.
Okay, and of course, with Orange Money, Orange Cash, and Orange Bank, to name just a few of the financial services offered by Orange, I think the initial goal was to position Orange as the place to go both for telecoms and for financial services. How far along the road to achieving that objective would you say that you are right now?
Well, we try to create hybrid universe between the bank and the telco. I will give you 3 examples. One is the offering. All of our banking offers include a telco feature. For example, we were the first to propose sending money by SMS, by text. That was copied afterwards. We were the first to do that. Or we were the first also to create a family product where all the family can have his banking account on a single contract, just as you may have with your telco operator a single contract providing you with your box in your home and we have with the mobile phone of you and your kids. So that's the first point on offering. Second point is on distribution. To give you a very big figures, when Orange is selling 100 handset, 100 mobile phone in France, out of these 100 sales, you have 45 banking sales which are embedded within the telco sale. Could be a financing, could be a current account, could be an insurance, but almost half of the telco sales are embedded with a banking sale, which is what we want to do. And third level, where we try to make hybrid things between the telco and the bank, is data. If we can grant a loan in Africa to a population which are unbanked, we do not have salary, some of them may even be illiterate, it's because of the usage of the telco data that gives us some information who help us grant a loan to people to which nobody would have ever granted a loan. So offering, distribution, and data are the three levels we try to use between the bank and the telco.
Okay, and so what, we can say that you're like 75% along the road to achieving your objective there?
Yes, we're quite close to the objective. To tell you the truth, at the beginning, Orange Bank was created a little bit too much standalone, and not so much linked to the telco. And part of my role as a management team of Orange Bank was just to make sure that everything we do it with and within the telco. Otherwise, we would just be another telco, another neobank. It's just the first question you asked, but we want to be the first telco bank in the banking universe.
Okay, and I suspect the answer to this question is quite short, but you mentioned management just now. The CEO of Orange, Stéphane Richard, is on his way out. Is there any risk that there'll be like a new vision, new strategy for financial services in Orange with the change of management at the top?
No, it's obviously something I discussed with my new CEO, but she was very clear. Orange Bank is by far the most innovative product that was launched by Orange since last year. So yes, we will continue investing in Orange Bank.
Okay, so we've heard about Orange Bank. Let's now get to know Paul a little bit better. So you are the CEO of a neobank, and I think you're deputy CEO of the parent, company Orange, the network operator. Was this always the plan for the young Paul Leusse? Did you kind of have other ambitions? I don't know, to be an artist or go surfing around the world or something? What did the young Paul want to do?
Well, the young Paul, really didn't know what to do at all, the truth is. That's why the young Paul, he chose to become a consultant at Oliver Wyman and then Bain for a decade. And then in the subprime crisis, all my clients were fired, so I had no clients anymore. That's why I went for banking at Crédit Agricole. I went in the retail part of Crédit Agricole. I was deputy CEO of the corporate and investment bank of the group. I was CEO of the wealth management part of the group, Suez. And at some time, I felt I wanted to do something more useful, more digital. That's when I chose to go to Orange. But yes, it was something recent which I hadn't planned at all.
And you mentioned, as you were a top executive at one of Europe's biggest banks. How different is it to be like a big cheese at a big legacy bank and being the top person at a neobank?
It's much more fun. It's much more fun because every decision you make, after 3 months if it's a good or a bad decision. In a big company, every decision you make, first it takes years before it's implemented, and you don't know if it's a good or a success or not because it has been changed so much since you took the decision. At Orange Bank, I've taken many decisions. Many were good, some were not as good, but after 3 months, I knew if it was good or bad decision. It's very satisfying to have this very short feedback on every decision you make.
I guess you also don't have to wear a tie if you're the CEO of a neobank versus. But of course, Orange, the parent company, has been around for decades. Orange Bank only since 2016. How are you kind of treated in the kind of neobank or fintech ecosystem? Are you considered almost like the legacy bank management? Are you considered one of them, like part of this club? It'd be interesting to know how you're perceived, because I guess some of them might be, with the greatest respect, a few years younger than you as well. Do they see you as one of them, or someone who's just the same as a legacy bank CEO?
Excellent question. And to tell you the truth, when I started at Orange Bank in 2018, I think we were seen a little bit as a legacy bank, also because we tend to think that we need to produce and to do everything on our own. And it's the main thing I've changed since I joined. I said, no, we cannot do everything. We're a small bank. Therefore, we need to rely on a fintech ecosystem. That's what I changed. Now we're working with United on consumer lending. United is a leading French consumer lending company. We're working with many fintechs or regtechs to help us. And now I hope the fintechs have seen that, like them, we're working in an ecosystem mode. We are not like the traditional bank i.e. just making sure that we control everything. No, we need to rely on many, many other competencies because we cannot do everything on our own.
What have been your best and worst days on the job at Orange Bank?
Good question. Best day, I think it's when I saw this link I wanted to create between the bank and the telco working. When I saw that Orange, in the Orange shops of Orange, they were selling around 10,000 premium cards a month in their shops. And when I met, I remember the day I met some guys in an Orange shop. It was not in Paris, it was in Dijon, so in the center of France. And they told me how proud they were to sell banking product to their customers. That's why very satisfying for me to see that these people who are not banked, who are not bankers, who do not have many strong academic background, they can become real bankers. That was the best day. The worst day, I think it's the day I came because, Orange Bank was so different from what I had anticipated. So I said, wow, lot of change to do, but now the changes are behind us and we've made them.
Guess it's like your first day at school, it's
yes.
Never easy.
Exactly.
Okay, so look, Paul, a key part of this interview is to get your take on the future of finance. But first, we are going to take a very quick break, after which we're going to continue our conversation with Orange Bank CEO Paul de Leusse. Welcome back, and don't forget, if you're not already a full member of our community, everything you need to join can be found at www.parisfintechforum.com. And now, Paul, let's talk about the future of finance. Okay, so Paul, many neobanks, Revolut, Atom and others have planned to IPO at some point. Is this a path that Orange Bank or financial services from Orange is likely to take?
Too early to say, but what works with Orange is that, as I said, we are embedded within the telco. So even if at some point there were to be an IPO, Orange must still keep a very close relationship with Orange Bank. Otherwise, as I said, we would be just another neobank. So whatever happens, we need to make this link between the telco and the bank as close as possible.
And when you look at competitors in the space and the fortunes they've raised and the eye-popping valuations many of them have achieved, what does that make you think? Does that make you think, I should be with one of them? I don't know. Does it make you jealous? How do you feel when you see it? Do you think, well, this is crazy, this is all going to come crashing down?
Well, I feel that it's a lot of money. I also feel that since the beginning of 22, valuation, I think, are cooling down a little bit. And I think that's good news because I'm proud for this guy. My concern, while I see all this money, is that who is the main benefiter of all this money? It's not this all neobanks, it's Google. Because you see all the price for all the AdWords, everything on Google is multiplied by 10. So most of this money goes to Google, does not go to the client, does not go to the staff, goes to Google. So if it's cooling down, I think the competition will be perhaps more healthy.
And I assume it's also helpful for you to be part of a deep-pocketed company with 250 million customers. Has that helped you achieve the kind of results in terms of your competitive advantage over those competitors who I guess just have the money to kind of help them get to where they want to get to? Yes,
in fact, being the subsidiary of Orange, it brings me customers. Out of the 50,000 customers joining us in Europe every month, 75% come from Orange. So clearly I benefit from that. I benefit from the telco shops who are selling Orange Bank. On the other hand, and it's normal, I have a shareholder, Orange, which asked me to be profitable. Many neobanks, the VC just ask them to gain as many customers as possible because the day of the IPO, the value of the neobank will be $500 multiplied by the number of customers. This is not the way Orange thinks. Orange asked me, you should increase your customer base, but on the other hand, make sure that you will be profitable within 2 or 3 years.
Sure, but obviously that customer base helps that it's kind of already there.
Sure.
Given how helpful having a big customer base can be, do you think it's inevitable that big tech, Apple, Meta, Google, move more firmly into banking and financial services to take advantage of their huge customer bases? Or maybe the kind of antitrust people will have a thing to say about that?
Well, it's very surprising because it's been a decade since everybody is asking why do not the GAFA go more into the banking world. The truth is that I think the GAFA, they don't like regulated universe. And the fact that the banking industry is a very regulated one, that the regulation is very different from one country to another, is very different from the GAFA model where they can push the same product everywhere on the planet. So yes, there have been some tentatives. Some were successful, some not. I would say that perhaps Amazon have tried many things in an intelligent way. I mean, not having just one big bang, but several initiatives. Some of them have tried and failed. We can think about Libra at Facebook. They asked us in Africa to be part of Libra. I was not very positive about that. So I think many tentatives, but they're still struggling to find the right way to penetrate the banking world.
But of course, at the same time, consolidation, mergers and acquisitions and the like is something we're seeing a lot in the fintech space, especially as some business models fail to gain traction. Should we expect to see more legacy banks buying neobanks or mergers between neobanks and actors like you perhaps buying fintechs to accelerate their go-to-market and scalability? Should we see more kind of consolidation, more different bits of the fintech ecosystem coming together to create bigger and more kind of comprehensive offerings for customers?
We'll see some with some small fintechs. We did that at Orange Bank. We bought a fintech called Anytime doing SME banking. But small fintech, when I say small, it's a valuation between, 100, 200, 300 million euros. Yes, we will see some acquisition. Although it was very difficult for a legacy bank to buy something new, something modern like a fintech. For the big fintechs, no, I don't think so. The valuation are just so crazy compared to the banking valuations that, it wouldn't be relative on the stock price of a traditional bank to buy one of these big unicorns in the neobank world. So, no, I don't think the sector is ready for that. Another reason is that many fintechs have been growing very fast, but not structuring their IT as much as they should have been, not structuring their anti-laundering system as much as they could have been. And most of the traditional banks, they know that if they buy a fintech, they will need to invest quite a lot of money to put these fintechs as the highest standard in terms of IT, QYC, and so on. And they know that it's not consistent with a strong growth. So that's why I don't see any big merger between traditional and fintech.
I guess at least many fintechs are a lot less expensive than they were now. But just more broadly speaking, and I'm just assuming this probably isn't the most fun, the funnest of times to be running a bank. You've got rising inflation, rising interest rates, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a slowdown in China, possibility of a global recession, and the list goes on. How do you deal with all of these challenges, and what can bank or fintech CEOs do about it, if anything at all?
Well, I think everything is not that bad. Rising interest rate would be all in all a good news for in the fintech world. I think all what happens today will also perhaps, as I said, cool down the fintech world, make sure that only the best of the fintech world will succeed, and perhaps many new entrants which were doing perhaps bad things or not behaving properly will stop. So I think there will be sort of cleaning in this fintech world, which is, I think, good. That's for Europe. In Africa, where we're operating, in Africa, sky is the limit. It's just fantastic because in Africa, you have a convergence of the customers wanting something really new, of the regulator being much more business-oriented as it is in the Western world. So in Africa, no, it's still very refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, look, it's time now for our rapid-fire round of questions. Are you ready, Paul?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got 90 seconds. Just going to get the timer up on my phone. And when my alarm rings, then we'll stop. So, first question. Just one-word answers is all I'm after. Most successful fintechs are very well funded, but don't make a lot of money. They're losing money hand over fist. Is this to be expected, or should we worry about it?
Worried.
What fintech segment, aside from yours, has the biggest potential over the next 5 years?
Consumer lending.
What is the biggest pain point in your everyday financial life that you would like to see resolved?
Anti-laundering.
Are we at the beginning, middle, or end of the fintech wave?
Middle.
Do you have a metaverse strategy?
Not yet.
Have EU and US regulations kept pace with the new possibilities and behaviors we're seeing in the financial industry?
Not sure.
How would you describe non-fungible tokens, NFTs? A scam, B, an interesting concept, or C, part of the future that we really shouldn't miss out on?
A fraud?
Have you ever invested in crypto?
Not yet.
Are physical points of sales part of the future of finance?
Still very important.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 the most likely, 1 the least likely, how likely are the following that one of the neobanks will be as profitable as a top-tier legacy bank in the next 10 years? This is
3.
CBDC, central bank digital currencies, will become a mainstream reality in the US or EU.
8.
And my alarm's gone off. I'm just going to ask you this final question. That you will be able to open a crypto account at a top-tier bank in parallel or instead of a classic fiat account, cash account.
3.
Okay. All right, Paul. Well, I'm afraid that is all we've got time for. So really just want to thank you for a really enjoyable conversation with Orange Bank CEO Paul Leusse. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back again next week with another big name from the world of finance and technology. We do hope all of you watching will be able to join us again then. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Paris Fintech Forum YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Paris Fin Forum. That's all for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.